Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in my video series this week, Poor People Mindset versus a Rich Person's Mindset. And today I want to talk about the statement, rich people act in spite of fear while poor people allow fear to stop them. Now, to a certain degree, I agree with this statement. I do believe that rich people do act more in spite of fears more than, classified poor people or low income households. And that's because I believe they have more resources. Their money buys them more resources than a low income household. Because sometimes even with with resources in a low income household, it still doesn't get them to their financial goal faster than if they were in a wealthier or higher income bracket. All right, so I know that there are many exceptions to this statement. I do know that there are plenty of rag to riches stories where someone has come from a low income household and took some calculated risk, and they may have left their job and started their own business, and years later they're successful. There have been models that just, they leave for New York with barely any money, and somehow they become a supermodel within, 2 or 3 years. So there are exceptions to this phrase, but even though you may come from a low income household, you should not let your financial insecurities paralyze you from achieving your financial goals, no matter how big it may seem at the time. And so in this video, I want to talk to you about the 5 ways or steps to overcome your financial insecurities. The first step or first way is to look at your budget and determine how to fit your financial goal into your budget. So one of the first financial insecurities that I had to face when first starting off my financial journey was building an emergency fund. And reading financial magazines, they tell you start with $1,000. But when I first started my financial journey, I was only making $17,000 a year as a customer service representative, and I was also a single mom. So as you can tell, I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't making a lot of money. But, one day I just say, you know what, I'm going to commit to it. I'm just going to do what I can do. However long it takes, I'm going to get to this $1,000. So I looked at my budget. I seen, what my expenses were, how much I was spending for, also what I was spending for gas, groceries, and bills. And I soon realized I didn't have any money to really put into savings. But I decided I was going to make the sacrifice and just save $10 every paycheck. That was $5 for me and $5 for my daughter. When we want to achieve our financial goals, we have to be willing to stop using the excuse that we don't make enough money. We have to make the sacrifice it takes to reach these goals. So the second step or second way to overcome your financial insecurities is to use community resources to fill in the gaps. So one of the things that community resources that I love to use is the library. I get books, get to read magazines, I get movies for free. And not only that, at the time, I also got to use the internet to apply for jobs and to, look up things that I needed to help me create, to help me reduce some of my expenses that if I possibly could. So the library was also a great resource to find free or relatively cheap events that were going on around town. So when we are trying to become debt free, we have to take out the notion that we have to spend a lot of money to have fun. You know, you going to these free or cheap events around town. They weren't always something that I would want to go do, but sometimes it was fun to try something new and different. So, use your library, go to your library, find out what events are going on, because they do have some fun events for your kids and for adults that you can utilize. And they do also offer classes and workshops, such as budgeting workshops, Excel workshops, all different types of things that they offer for free or cheap. And then another resource that I used was public assistance. So I had daycare assistant, food stamps, and Medicaid. We have to get out the notion or somehow stop feeling ashamed that we have to use public assistance. It is nothing to be ashamed about. Public assistance is not something that you have to depend on forever. Public assistance is a tool that you can utilize to help you get by until you can do better. And the third step or way you can overcome your financial insecurities, excuse me, I'm looking at my notes, is to surround yourself with people who are really ready to support you. So one of my greatest supports, when I was, I was dealing with low income, and was my mother. She didn't know I was trying to save $1,000 and do all this, but you know what? She always offered me words of encouragement. She would always give me the phrase that this too shall pass. She always instilled in me that, you know what, no matter what situation that I'm going through, whether bad or good, it's not going to always last. What a great support system was my friends. They realized that, I couldn't go out. So they would come over my home, after my daughter was sleeping. They would bring, chips and drink and dip, and we would hang out and talk. They knew I didn't have the money to go out. So you know what? They came to me. And sometimes they even took me out, and, my mother babysit my daughter while I was out. When we are in our debt-free journey, we have to surround ourselves by people who are willing to support us, whether it's with time, money, or both. So you should be more focused on surrounding yourself by people who are willing to support you. Do not worry about people who are not willing to help, and be thankful for the people who are willing to help you. So the fourth step to help you overcome your financial insecurities is you have to be patient. 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 When I started building my savings fund, I knew that it was going to be a while before I could even get up to that $1,000 goal. And even after 4 years and 3 different jobs later, I still have not reached that $1,000 goal. But that does not discourage me. I also had to take money out to cover emergencies. Like I went through an apartment fire, and that really, put a damper on my funds. But that doesn't stop me, because you know what? I can start over again. But I know that I have to have patience, because seeing a small amount not adding up in a short amount of time as much as I would like doesn't feel good. But you know what? I'm doing something. And patience is what's going to get me to the point that I really want to be at. So we have to get out of this microwave notion that, you know what, we're going to save this quick, fast, and in a hurry. And when things don't go right or the way we want to, as fast as we want to, we have to give up. Some things and a lot of things, especially when you're in a low income household and you're trying to build savings, is really patience, because you don't have a lot to give, and so whatever you do have to give has to take time to build up. So whatever your financial goal is, be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Patience is the most important thing you can do with achieving your financial goal. So the fifth step or way to overcome your financial insecurities is to be committed and to not stop working. You need to be persistent and consistent when it comes to achieving your financial goals. Don't stop because things are not working the way that you want to. You have to keep going. With building up my emergency funds, there were times where I had to dip into it because I need to pay a bill. I needed to buy my daughter clothes, or I had to buy groceries, or I had to, at one point I had to, after my apartment fire, was get another apartment, and that's what my emergency fund was. It was to help me to get back on my feet after a fire. But even despite of that, I still remain persistent. I still make sure that I have money to put away in savings to reach my $1,000 goal. So I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed this video series. Please like this video and comment below something that you would like from a financial topic that you would like for me to talk about. Again, I hope you have a good night.